got to be a really well-rounded athlete.
Mistakes are inevitable and they're going to happen.
Getting out on the bike all day.
Physical, technical.
I feel like enduro is pushing you to your limits.
Well, that is what the riders said before their season started. It's been a hectic year already. Let's have a quick recap of the 2023 UCI Enduro World Cup so far. Racing started down under in Tasmania. Medina Bike Park hosted the very first UCI Enduro World Cup. There was a strong showing from the Australians, with locals Luke Meyer-Smith, Troy Brosnan, Conor Fearon and Dan Booker duking it out all day at the front of the men's race.
I want to swear, but I can't. That's messed up, dude.
The conditions are like as good as they get. It's so sick.
Some of the Enduro old guard were struggling. Jesse Melamed had a puncture, causing this moment on stage 3. Jack Moyer wasn't feeling himself, leaving just Richie Rude and Rhys Werner to take the fight to the Australians. There was a mix-up in the women's race when downhill star Valley Hull attended her first enduro race of the season. She had a good start to the day, but unfortunately had a big crash, leaving her out of contention.
I got a bit too excited. I heard I was not doing that bad, so I thought, well, just keep going. So I had a bit of a hugie, bit sore, but just trying to finish the day.
Fighting for third place in the women's race, it was tight between the British riders Bex Barona, Hattie Harnden and Ella Connolly. Despite losing her chain on the last stage, Ella Connolly would take third position. At the top of the final stage, it was Morgan Charr and Isabelle Cordurier in a fight for first place. And there was no stopping Isabelle, who took the first race of the season by 7 seconds from Charr. Best of the rest was Conor Fearon in the men's. He took third place ahead of Rhys Werner and Troy Brosnan. But it was Dan Booker and Meyer-Smith dropping in last on the final stage. Dan Booker gave it everything, but it was Luke Meyer-Smith who was to take his and Giant's first Enduro World Cup victory.
Were you keeping an eye on them? Were you aware of how fast you're going out there?
Yeah, I was aware, but just tried to hit my laps and not think about it too much, which paid off, so stoked.
Round 2 of the UCI Enduro World Cup stayed in Tasmania. Blue Derby would host the second race of the year. Made famous by its Blue Derby trail network and raucous crowds lining every stage, the second venue did not disappoint. A wet practice session had caused chaos amongst the field, leaving last weekend's winner Luke Meyer-Smith feeling ill. He was well off the pace.
No good, got a bit of a flu, takes all the energy out of you, and yeah, struggling on the pedals a bit.
Also in the women's, Isabelle Cordurier had sustained an injury in practice, leaving her struggling on the front of the women's race, wide open. In the women's, it was the strong contingency from Britain out front. Bex Barona, Hattie Harnden and Ella Connolly juked it out for the top 3. After a tough day out, Isabelle Cordurier managed to save her day, coming home in 4th position, with just the British trio ahead of her. Despite the best efforts of Ella Connolly and Hattie Harnden, there was no stopping the Yeti Fox racer Bex Barona, who took a well-deserved victory.
It feels insane. I honestly just want to call my parents, but they'll be sleeping right now. That last run I definitely gave absolutely everything, but for the rest of the day I was just having fun.
In the men's, Jesse Melamed was finding his form. He would take third place in the race, pipping out Jack Moyer and Martin Mays. But at the front, it was a battle between the two Yeti Fox teammates, Slavomir Lukacic and Richie Rude, who were swapping first place all day long. It all came down to the last stage of the race. Could Slavomir Lukacic beat Richie Rude? Slavomir Lukacic gave it everything, but it wasn't enough to hold back the American. Richie Rude took the win at the second race of the year.
So wild, like in the pits before 6, and asked Shawnee where Bex was and said she was leading, and I was like, whoa, this is like a big day for us.
After the first 2 rounds in Tasmania, this is what the women's championship standings look like. Bex Barona was out in front, closely followed by Isabel Cordurier, and the 2 British riders Ella Connolly and Hattie Harnden behind them. In the men's, it was Richie Rude out front, followed by Australia's Dan Booker, Luke Meyer-Smith, and Richie's teammate Slavomir Lukacic in 4th. Next up on the calendar was the beautiful Pietra Ligure. On the Mediterranean coast, the racers would race from the mountains down to the sea. In the women's race, there was a new contender. The Italian Gloria Scarzi was looking strong. She managed to beat Isabel Cordurier to second place, but there was no stopping Morgan Schar. The flat pedal specialist rode away to her first victory of the year in Pietra Ligure.
The trails today, they were really fun to ride. I think I quite like it when it's slippery, as I ride on flat pedals, and it's like I can push the limits a bit further maybe, so yeah, it was good.
That win would give Morgan the lead in the overall. Disaster struck for the championship leader Richie Rude on the second stage of the day. A crash would leave him out of contention. It was a tightly stacked top 3 throughout the day, with Alex Rudeau, Rhys Werner and Jessie Melamed fighting for first place. But there was no stopping the Canadian Jessie Melamed. He would win his first race of the year on his new Canyon Collective race bike.
The whole weekend, and the last, however many months leading up to this has gone really well. So they did a huge job to get me so comfy on a new bike in a few weeks and over the course of this whole winter.
The 4th round of the year saw the racers head to the stunning Austrian Alps. A brand new venue, Leogang, awaited. The Italian Gloria Scarzi was enjoying the trails in Leogang.
Excited for this race. I really like the stage. For pushing, it's really hard, a lot of pedaling also.
She would beat Morgan Schar to second place. However, there was no one stopping the resurgent Isabel Cordurier.
It's been pretty tough to manage, but I knew I had to push really hard on stage 2 because it was the one that suited me the most and the one I wanted to. Yeah, if I had a chance, it was on this one, so I'm super happy I could put a good time on this one and then manage my day trying not to make too many mistakes and crash in the bike park.
Series leader Jessie Melamed was going well until a mechanical on the 5th stage saw him off and pushing his bike. He would finish the race in 10th. It was his compatriot Rhys Werner who managed to secure his first ever Enduro World Cup win. He was followed home by Richie Rude and Alex Rudeau.
Honestly, a pretty sick day start to finish. Started good, kind of won the first stage, and besides stage 5, I think I was either first or second. Yeah, just solid, consistent day, and yeah, it feels pretty unreal to actually put it together.
The stunning Italian Dolomites awaited. They would host the 5th round of the series. With its high speed and high consequence ridgelines, This was sure to be a race to shake up the overall. In the men's category, Richie Rude looked unstoppable. He was being chased on by Jesse Melamed and Alex Rudeau. That would be until Tutti Frutti, the longest stage of the race, and Richie Rude had a mechanical. Jesse Melamed was off the pace, leaving the door wide open for Matt Walker to take the lead position going into the final stage.
So nervous. There's a little buffer, so just got to try to be smart with it and not do anything stupid.
Go, 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 go!
He had done it. The New Zealander for Pivot Factory Racing took his first ever Enduro World Cup win, making it 5 different winners in 5 different races.
A first win, definitely out the blue. I wasn't really expecting it. I always like the venue here. I know you can't have a bad day when you're riding bikes somewhere like this, so definitely a few things I want to tidy up with my riding, but man, I just had such a fun day. I really can't complain. Even if I came 50th or whatever, I had a sick day out, so I'm stoked.
Matt Walker came out on top, ahead of Richie Rude and Alex Rudeau. There was also drama in the elite women's field with the top 3 riders all hailing from France. Coming into the last stage, Morgan Schar was ahead of Isabelle Cordelier by just 0.76 seconds. Disappointment on the line for Morgan Schar as Isabelle Cordelier took the race win and built a comfortable looking lead in the championship standings.
It was an insane battle. It's the first time I think I dropped in the last stage with that amount of pressure. I think she pushed me so hard and definitely like never before.
And here are those championship standings then. Isabelle Cordelier is currently ahead of Morgan Schar with the chase for third between Bex Barona and Hattie Harnden hotting up behind them. Gloria Scarzi sits in 5th. In the men's race, consistency has paid off for Richie Rude. He's sitting ahead of the 2 Canadians, Rhys Verner and Jesse Melamed, with the flat pedal French rider Alex Rudeau in 4th. So there we have it, the 2023 season so far. Don't forget to tune in next time for what should be a modern classic in Loudenvielle, Pays Ragu. We'll see you there.